So first, let's take a look about how the application looks. You log in with your Upwork credentials, and then you get a main screen with the different opportunities. You can customize it and have a light view with a white background. Later, we will check about the AI Analyze button. But first, let's go over your profile, where you can get all the information that you put on your Upwork profile is automatically loaded there. And at the bottom, I configured that you can use the API for Google or for AWS. For AWS, you need to do some further configurations, but we will take a look about that later. So let's do a quick search for an AI consultant position, and let's limit the results to the United States. Let's see the results, and we can see what is available in Upwork, also the reputation of the customers, and how much they are paying for that position. Let's click on AI Analyze, and with that, you will send information to the AI, in this case Gemini, to analyze the post against your profile, and you can get the results. So let's give it a moment to analyze. After the analysis, you get a report with a score and also your strengths and weakness based on your profile. You can take that and download that as a separate document that you can use later, or you can generate a proposal that you can use as a base to create a customized proposal for this customer. The downloaded document contains all the analysis with the date, and you can use that later as well, or you can plug it in another LLM. Or simply you can have this report and then you can decide later if you would like to pursue that opportunity. Also, there is this feature where you can download as JSON or CSV all the results that you got from your search. And with that, you can also send that to an LLM to make an analysis based on this document. You have many details that a more advanced LLM can take a look and offers you like which ones are the best. What I believe is the best feature of this app is to have a bulk analysis. It's the button on the lower right. You only need to press that once and you can have a detailed analysis of all the opportunities against your profile. It takes some time, but you only need to click that and you don't have to review every one of them. Once the bulk analysis finishes, you have all the results ranked on how good are the opportunities for you. You have a score next to each opportunity and also with some guide by colors. You have green as a good opportunity, yellow as a not so good, and red as an opportunity that you should avoid. For each one, you have an independent analysis and you can see your strengths, the weakness, and also a guide to create a proposal. Furthermore, you can click directly on that box and you can see the opportunity in Upwork. Some highlights about the app. First one is that it's built for personal use. It's not approved for a commercial Upwork API app, so you wouldn't be able to use it. It's only for personal use. It was developed with support from AI tools, from Gemini, Codex, and also from Cloud. Its purpose is to run locally, but it also can be migrated into AWS, GCP, Render, or similar cloud platforms. Some basic requirements: you should have Visual Studio Code or another IDE for setup and execution. You should have Python installed. You should have Boom for frontend, Git, Node.js, and if you are planning to use the AWS models, you should have the AWS account created and also a CLI installed. I found that the quickest way to locate the page where you can request the API is to look in Google. But there are some requirements that you have to comply in order to request the API key. One of them is that you have to have a valid name, you have to have a valid picture, a payment method, and probably you have to have some earnings. If you comply with all of that, you can request the API key, and it's as simple as fill a form in which you only need to put a title, in this case it will be for a web project, and then you will need to set a callback URL. For that, given that I recommend to use this as localhost, we will put localhost and a brief project description saying that we will use this to analyze jobs using AI. The API usage, I have put like under 100 is fine. If you would like to do more, you can do that as well. For the rotation period, you can do that also for 6 months or 1 year. The important part about the permissions, we need to select the following ones, so the app works. The first is about the activity entities for read-only and read and write. Common entities, read-only, and also common functionality. Then we go to freelancer profile, job postings, read-only access is fine, organization, read and write access, read marketplace job posting, that's the one actually that we need the more. Then we can select as well offer, ontology, talent profile, read and write access, and then view user details, so we can have our own information. Finally, you will need to agree with the terms and then submit your request. It takes about 2 days to get the response from the Upwork team, but after that you will see your activated keys under My Active Keys. Then we will use the values for keys and secret in the app, and I will show you that later. The process to get the API for Gemini is to go to Google AI Studio and click on Get an API Key. Then you simply need to get the API key and put a name and put it on the Gemini project. They have a free tier. The app is compatible with that, so you don't have to worry about reaching limits, and it can analyze the jobs. Once the key is created, you will be able to see its usage by clicking on the stats button next to the key. There you will be able to see how many calls, how many tokens have you used. If you are making the bulk analysis, you are using around 150, 300,000 tokens. So you should be cautious about that if you are in the free tier. If you have a paid token, you have higher limits and you don't have limits about the transactions per minute. If you want to use AWS, you will need to go into the console and check for the specific region. Different regions have different capabilities for LLMs. In this case, I have decided to go for the Nova models. For that, we are going to leverage Amazon Bedrock, so we look for that into the console. Once we are in Amazon Bedrock, on the left we can see the model access setting, and we can check all the different LLMs that are available. If we don't have access, we will need to request our account administrator to provide access to us. Particularly, I am interested in Nova Lite and Nova Pro because they show a good capability and they are really fast. When I tested them, it were really quick compared to what Gemini offered. The process for internal models for AWS is quick. You don't have to wait, it's automatically. For external ones like Opus or Sonnet from Anthropic, it takes an additional step, but also you get them immediately. So as an example, I am putting the Nova models and also Opus from Anthropic. And as you can see, once you submit your request, then you can see that the models are enabled and you will be able to use it in Amazon Bedrock. Amazon Bedrock is a comprehensive set of tools for LLMs and for generative AI. For this case, we are particularly interested in the API keys, and we have two options. First is the short term that can last up to 12 hours, and that's a good thing for experimenting. And we have also the long-term API keys. For this case, we have more options that can range from days to months or even one that never expires. For my case now, I'm gonna use the 90 days for this example. And then when I accept that, I will get all the details, including the secret and how to use the API key. You have to copy this or download it. And in the same way that we made with Gemini, we will have these keys to use them in our app to analyze the job opportunities. And you will be able to see all the APIs that you have available. I'm gonna delete mine because I already have other one. The same API key is valid for the different LLM models, and they are secure, and anytime you don't want to use it, you can delete them. Take some additional steps, but as always, AWS focuses more on secure and enterprise solutions, and that's why you have to do this. In the description of this video, you will find the link for the repository. There you would like to go to the stable version, and you can find all the code and the different dependencies that you will require to install to have this app running. So for that, I will move to Visual Studio and I will clone all the files into my computer, and that will take some time. So once the process of cloning is completed, we have a new folder called Upwork Opportunity Matcher with the different files to execute the app. We need to create a .env file where we will put all the credentials that we gather for Upwork, from AWS and from Google Gemini, and we will use them to execute the app. It's clearly identified, and on the repository page you will see a template, and you can delete this public Upwork profile. The app automatically will get that value and will create that value later when it's executed, so you can delete that. But for the other ones, for the Upwork API, you should get it approved by the Upwork team. Also the Gemini, you can check the process how to get it from AWS is the same way. The only consideration is that you should have the AWS CLI installed on your computer. Once you have put all your secrets into the .env file, you will create a virtual environment in Python. It depends if you're in a Mac or Linux or in Windows, the commands are different, but pretty much you would like to create that virtual environment, then install all the requirements from the requirements.txt, get that set up so you can run the app. That takes some time, download some packages and build everything so you can have it running. The front end, in the same way, you would like to access the front end folder, install Boom, all the Node.js with pip, and have that ready. The good thing about Visual Studio Code is that you can have a separate a division between two terminals, and you can see how both are installed. And finally, there is a script included in the repository that is called rundev.sh. You can execute that directly, or if you would like, you can take the commands for the backend and for the front end, and you can execute them independently, and you can see all the different transactions that are happening, like the requests that are happening for the API for Upwork, and also what is happening with the front end. And basically that's it. The app will run localhost. You can check that out in the browser. As I showed you previously, you have different parts that you can interact, you can test. In case you have some recommendations, or if you would like to request some changes, feel free to let me know, to open a request in GitHub, and I can take a look about that.